Thanks so much, guys. How are you enjoying Pokemon Go out here? Good, me too. Now let's bring our next two players to the stage. First, please welcome Shigeki Morimoto! And to challenge, it's Carrymeh! Come on up here. Come on up here so we can shake hands. All right, guys, shake hands. Take your positions, and we can't wait to watch you play. Thank you. Go ahead and get started. Let's get into the game.
All right, second match today. Carrymeh was actually, I believe, the winner of the lottery that we had selected, so really exciting to see the 8th player being chosen here. I'm excited to see what he has to really offer on this stage.
Yeah, absolutely, and going up against a Pokemon legend like Mr. Morimoto has to be intimidating.
Yeah, and especially from Mr. Morimoto's, and I'm very curious to see what team he ends up bringing into this event. Especially exciting, we were talking about earlier, is he going to go with some of the more standard meta picks, or is he going to opt for some of his maybe favorites, or just Pokemon he has in Pokemon Go? So I think we're about to get this started, and I'm really, really excited. That first match definitely was a great introduction. I feel like a lot of high skill displayed immediately.
Absolutely, and it looks like we're getting into our match here. Mr. Morimoto preparing his team. Carrymeh also getting ready.
Game is about to get started. Of course, these players are playing on iPads. One thing that's actually a little bit different about this event is that they aren't playing on phones, they're playing on iPads for the tournament. Here we go. It's going to be the Linoon coming out against the Bastiodon. Normal, not really a great typing against Steel typically.
But the interesting thing about Linoon here is that it's running Shadow Claw as a quick move, and then also has Grass Knot and Thunder as charge moves. Linoon was actually one of the first Pokemon that I invested Stardust in when Pokemon Go PvP was released because of that diverse move pool.
Yeah, so such a diverse move pool. They're actually going for the charged Grass type attack here. Gets the excellent. Are we going to see a shield? It won't do very much there, but actually sizable amount of neutral attack there against the Bastiodon. And we're going to just see both Pokemon continue to trade off. So Linoon actually getting a pretty decent end of the trade-off right now, having more health. Looks like it's actually going to go for yet another charge move to be able to get this energy out really, really quickly. Going to go for the Grass Knot, like you mentioned. There is the shield this time, though, from the Bastiodon.
Mr. Morimoto hitting those excellents. Looks like he's definitely done some practice coming into this tournament.
Yeah, and I really like seeing the Linoon and the Bastiodon, which we obviously have featured on the main stage here. There's going to be a shield coming out from the Linoon, so both players opting to use the shield. Earlier on in this match, going to go for yet another Grass Knot. These players so far have been really, really great in connecting with all the things, and no surprise to see Mr. Morimoto have a quick start here. Gets a knockout. It is going to be the Skarmory taking place, but the Linoon here will fall down.
Mr. Morimoto now opting to send out his Bastiodon, a Pokemon that matches up very well against Skarmory, especially carrying that Flamethrower.
Yeah, Carrymeh recognizes that Skarmory won't be able to do very much there. Oh, and a nice switch there. Okay, going out into the Muk, but of course we saw earlier Deoxys having such strong Psycho Boost will be able to do a ton of damage to Muk, which is Poison type. This is in the Alolan Muk with the Dark typing, of course.
Absolutely. Mr. Morimoto just wanting to follow the switch and not give up too much advantage, but it looks like this Deoxys is going to make quick work of the Muk here.
And, it looks like actually missing a bunch of the charge move requirements there, too. But Deoxys actually ended up shielding it, so maybe a better end of the trade-off there. But, yeah, Muk, not exactly the best Pokemon to take potential Psycho Boosts from this Deoxys, which are super effective. So, nice start there for Mr. Morimoto, but now the Muk here will faint to 2 big Psycho Boosts. So, Bastiodon will come out, but, the thing about Bastiodon is, and a bunch of the animations there miss. Is he going to be able to pull off an excellent here? No, just look great. Actually, still does some solid damage there, but Carrymeh feels like he definitely has the upper hand right now.
Of course, we do have 3 tiers of damage during that charge-up animation. We have nice, great, and excellent, and you can only miss 1 target to still get an excellent, so you do have to be very accurate.
This is going to be close. I mean, there are 2 Pokemon left on Carrymeh's end, and Bastiodon does get access to, that Flamethrower, so could potentially get a big attack off here against Skarmory.
Looks like Skarmory has an attack ready to go already with that energy saved up.
Is it going to be enough?
Attack.
Ooh,
not very effective at all.
Not very much at all, no. And here now is actually opting for the Rock type attack there rather than the Fire type. Going to be able to, get another great. So not an excellent there, just a lot of damage, but I think Skarmory might be able to seal it off here now.
Skarmory's got this next attack ready to go, and regardless of what it is, should be enough damage to knock out this Bastiodon.
Let's see. It's actually
Just
so
a
bulky.
sliver of health.
Of course, Bastiodon with such a strong defensive typing, really being able to resist Skarmory's attacks. And I think it's cool to see Bastiodon as we do see Carrymeh take the first game, because Bastiodon, of course, being Rock and Steel, being able to really take attacks well from Skarmory, and also having access to a fire type attack gets that super effective damage off in return. But felt like, once again, the dynamic between Deoxys and Muk, kind of what we saw in that first game as well, being able to get so much super effective damage off with those charge moves really dictates the course of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's cool to see Bastiodon carrying that flamethrower, as a lot of Pokemon in Pokemon Go do have access to moves that will cover a lot of their weaknesses.
Right.
So that's something I really like about Pokemon Go PvP, is that Niantic's developers are consistently updating the game, making these balance changes. As certain Pokemon become more popular, they'll increase move pools to maybe provide players with more answers to those threats.
Yeah, absolutely. So first game here, we'll go to Carrymeh. We are about to get started with the second game. That was a cool one, though. I mean, Linoon, definitely a unique pick. And like you mentioned, running that Shadow Claw, being able to still do some pretty consistent damage, and with 3 different types of attacks, right? Shadow Claw, we saw the Grass out as well. So a lot of coverage there, which I think is unique. But ooh, a different Pokemon coming out this time around.
Here we go, Poliwrath, a Pokemon that I am personally very excited to see. And there are 2 popular variations of Poliwrath. It looks like Mr. Morimoto's is using Bubble as a fast attack, but Poliwrath does have access to Mud Shot as a legacy move. So if you have any friends who are playing Pokemon Go back in 2016, maybe hit them up, see if they're holding on to one of those rare Poliwrath.
Yeah, it's actually looks like it blocks the Thunderbolt there from the Deoxys, so nice shield earlier on in this match, and gonna go for an attack of its own. Oh, is he gonna be able to connect with them? He's at a Gray right now. Only Gray, like you said, excellent, so hard to hit, and it's gonna be a fighting type attack, not gonna do very much damage there against the Deoxys, so nice decision on Carrymeh's end to not shield. This time around, though, not going to go for the fighting type attack, going to be an ice type charged attack coming out, and actually does some very good damage there.
Yeah, with that attack boost from Power Up Punch, this Poliwhirl is going to start dealing more and more damage as the battle goes on. Of course, here opting for Ice Punch once again. With that attack buff, going to deal a significant amount of damage, but Carrymeh does choose to shield there.
So both players have opted for an early shield in this game. Obviously, Deoxys a little bit lower, but Mr. Morimoto is actually going to go for the second shield, so going to block those super effective Thunderbolts, which is obviously really, really great, but as a result, he doesn't have any shields to play on for the remainder of this game. Carrymeh still does have 1 shield, so Morimoto-san with the early lead, but down 1 shield. However, he does have a charge attack ready here.
Unfortunately, not able to fire that off. Had he committed a little bit earlier, he would have been able to do that before the Skarmory could start using its own quick move there.
Ooh, and Azumarill this time, a nice adjustment there, of course, being able to switch in for the Skarmory, which isn't very effective against the Bastiodon, but is going to be able to get some nice damage off with the water type attacks, and so looks like it's going to be a charge attack coming out and no shields this time around.
Let's see if this Azumarill is carrying Hydro Pump.
Oh, it is, and look how much damage it does. Super effective attack there, plus the same type attack bonus from Azumarill. Morimoto-san going for a rock type attack of his own, but not able to connect with all of it. Does some pretty good damage, but it feels like he's really missing out on the additional damage output that you like from hitting all your charge moves.
Absolutely, it's critical to get that excellent damage every time. Now we see Linoon coming back, of course, with 2 charge moves that are going to deal super effective damage to this Azumarill here.
But once again, no shield coming out. We know how strong this Azumarill is with those Hydro Pumps. It's going to get a, and going for an Ice type attack this time around, actually. But the Linoon now, of course, quite low. Linoon will be able to get a strong Grass Knot off here, but we'll see if Carrymeh decides to commit his last shield here. Of course, he still does have 1 shield. Actually, going to just let the Azumarill faint here, leaving it all for the Skarmory, but the Skarmory is very healthy and has a shield to potentially block those electric type attacks from the Linoon.
Things are not looking good for Mr. Morimoto here. The Sky Attack coming through, just enough damage to knock out that Linoon. Yeah,
really fun matchup there. I mean, once again, seeing the Poly I thought was really cool, something that we also haven't seen today, so I feel like Morimoto-san has opted for some more unique picks that maybe might not be as common, and I think one of the cool things is even when you see the Pokemon, there are multiple ways that they can be trained, there are multiple ways that they can be built, just like the video game side, and like you mentioned, right when the poly came out, 2 different ways to potentially build it. I think that's always got to play some line games earlier on when you're facing up against something like that.
Right, absolutely. And that quick move does make a big difference on Poliwrath because Mudshot is one of the quick moves that's going to charge up energy fastest.
Right.
So it lets you fire off those power-up punches and those ice punches really, really quickly. Bubble, on the other hand, deals a pretty good amount of damage for a quick move, but doesn't charge up energy as fast. So it's an interesting trade-off, a difficult choice to make, and really comes down to what style of play the trainer really wants to go for.
Yeah, here we go. Game 3, going to be the Linoon lead this time around for Morimoto-san. Carrymeh is up 2-0 right now, going to bring out that Skarmory. We know that the Linoon actually does have a way to hit for super effective against Skarmory, so both players kind of just trading for damage right now. Of course, the Linoon here being able to charge up energy pretty fast, actually going for, looks like the Grass Knot this time around, so maybe trying to bait out a potential shield. Going to be another great attack. No shield, though, this time from Carrymeh, so won't take very much damage from that charge attack. The Linoon, however, this time will retaliate with a shield of its own.
Mr. Morimoto opting for that Grass Knot. Interesting play. He's got a little bit of extra energy now saved up. Maybe he can go for the Thunder this time, and will Carrymeh choose to shield? This will be some pretty heavy damage.
Oh, there is the Thunder, yeah. Missing a bunch of those, so only to get a great, and oh, but no shield comes out, maybe getting caught off guard by that Thunder.
Still enough damage, despite not hitting excellent. Plenty of damage comes through.
Yeah, and if the Linoon here can get another charge attack, both of these, of course, are super effective against the Azumarill. So, of course, there are still multiple shields from Carrymeh's end, and Morimoto-san now will fall down with his shields having committed both of them already. So, seems like he really kind of wants to preserve the early game damage. This time around, it will be a Grass Knot coming out from Linoon. Going to be able to connect with almost all of them. Not getting the excellent, but there is a shield blocking a big, super effective attack. See who gets this next charge move off.
Definitely a smart play by Mr. Morimoto to save these shields or use these shields for Linoon, considering it's going to deal pretty good damage to a lot of Carrymeh's Pokemon here.
Oh, and another shield coming out from Carrymeh. But now both players have opted for the shields, and this time around, Morimoto-san is actually up a Pokemon. Now, of course, Linoon fainting, but we'll get a switch in to either the Muck or the Bastiodon. Muck definitely the stronger choice because of the poison type, super effective, of course, against that fairy.
Especially using that poison jab quick move, it's going to deal a good amount of damage to this Azumarill, even without needing to charge up those charge moves.
Lots of damage coming out from Azumarill's charge moves. At this point, neither players have shields, so they're basically just trading damage back and forth. But Azumarill having so much energy, being able to get another charged attack off here. And oh, it does so much damage to the Muck. Will Muck be able to return with one of its own? It's so close. It looks like it will be able to.
Just barely able to get that Thunder Punch off, charging up the move here. Unfortunately, unable to hit that excellent tier of damage, but still enough to knock out the Azumarill.
This is a close game here. The Muck, of course, very, very low. Now the Bastiodon coming out here. Whoa, it's going to be close. No shields from either player, but Bastiodon right now taking a little bit more damage than the Deoxys is. Deoxys being so defensive, and right now Deoxys also having the advantage, getting a major charged attack off here. Going to go for the Thunderbolt. It takes so much damage here, but Bastiodon does have a charge attack ready. Like opting for the rock type instead of the fire type there. Which
unfortunately not a very good matchup for Bastiodon, as this Deoxys is carrying counter.
Super effective.
Yep, super effective, incredibly super effective considering Bastiodon's typing.
Yeah, it's so close there, but the Deoxys having the upper hand with its fast move, being able to get the knockout there. Is that enough to knock out? Looks like it is, but yeah, that will be the game, and Carrymeh will actually win this 3-0, but that last game was really, really close.
Yeah, interesting. Very impressive performance by Mr. Morimoto, and I was pretty excited to see some of the Pokemon that he opted to bring with him on his team. Some of my favorites in Poliwrath and Linoon.
I think Linoon actually really showed how impressive it can be. I mean, it was up there